If you guys are looking for the perfect video explaining all of D23 Experiences Showcase's announcement, you found the right video. Stay tuned, we're gonna go through every single announcement. Guys, welcome back to DS Family Adventures. Here we have a brand new adventure, a big adventure that's coming up to all of the parks all around the globe. Also some cruise news, which I was expecting a little bit of cruise news, but this is big cruise news. So guys, this is gonna be a fun one. If you can and you find it in your heart to go ahead and support us, please like, subscribe, comment, share on this video. We're going to be going through a big list of stuff, so here we go. Buckle up. So Ellie, what did you think about, without revealing everything, right? Because we're gonna go through the list here in a second. Without doing that, what did you think overall of, you know, the D23 showcase last night?
I think I'm excited for some things, but I kind of expected like a park.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people
competed with Universal.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you kind of hit the nail right there on its head. For the most part, I feel like Disney did a lot of stuff to excite us, especially if you're a Disney fan. You're gonna be super, super excited about this, but I feel like they could have done a little bit better. And there's some rumors, obviously, if you've kept up with the news, that there will be a new park coming, potentially. Obviously, nothing is official, right? It's all speculation, but maybe they're saving that for a future announcement, maybe in about 2 years for the next D23, because I think D23s are about every 2 years or so. So we'll see how things go. I think that this definitely sets up Disney for a lot of success, and I think this is exactly what, you know, Disney needed. I think that they probably could have, again, done a little bit more to excite people and get people really, really pumped up, but they're probably saving that to do a little bit of a 1-2 punch later on. With that said, let's go ahead through the list of things, and we'll kind of go through some of our favorites. But I think what we should probably do, just to keep things a little bit organized, is start with Disneyland. That's how they started off their showcase last night. So we'll start off there and talk about the changes that are coming to Disneyland. So number one, Mando and Grogu are coming over to Smuggler's Run. If you don't know what Smuggler's Run is, it's a really cool ride over Galaxy's Edge. It's also here in Hollywood Studios. We live in Orlando, if you didn't know. It's a really exciting ride. I think that it's gonna be really cool to see that ride reimagined. I don't think that they're gonna have to do a lot of changes for this. Obviously, Smuggler's Run kind of runs like a video game of some sort, really. It's, you sit down in this little room, you have joysticks, you have buttons that you press, and then you see kind of like this screen around you, and it's literally a video game.
Yeah, you can kind of control everything. So
exactly. So all
if you don't press the buttons there, when you're landing, you kind of go like super crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I feel like all they would have to do really is just to put together a new video game. You know, the engineers, I feel like most of them are probably going to be software engineers working on this. You know, I don't think they need a lot of time or a lot of work to get this done. They have said that it's coming out in 2026. So unfortunately, it's a little bit further away than what I think they probably will need, which is like something that you'll see throughout this showcase. I guess a little bit of a downer is that everything's taking a while, but it is Disney, right? Like, this is stuff that we've kind of grown accustomed to. We know Disney takes a long time to, you know, even work on cement upgrades, which has been like a running joke around the Disney community, you know, so it's tough, right? But we do know that there's things coming, you know, ahead of time. I think any other company would probably do it a little bit quicker, but Disney does things with a lot of quality, and sometimes that quality comes with a lot of time. I think that's what make these announcements feel a little bit longer than they should. But don't want to waste too much time there. We're gonna move on to the next one, which is the great moments with Mr. Lincoln. But that's going to be rotating now at Disneyland with this new attraction. It's called Walt Disney and Magical Life. So I think for the 70th anniversary, which is another thing that they announced, they're doing a 70th anniversary over at Disneyland. They're going to be doing this really cool animatronic that shows Walt Disney, goes through his life, and I thought that it was a really cool idea. You know, we'll see kind of what comes out of it. After they're done with that 1 year anniversary, they're going to be rotating that with great moments with Mr. Lincoln, and that'll be really interesting to see as well. Every time that you go there, you probably are going to see something different. I'm not exactly sure how the rotation schedule will be. Maybe it's like every other show per day, it rotates, or I don't really know how it will work, but it seems like a pretty cool idea. Over at Disney California Adventures, this one got a ton of updates, guys. Avengers Campus, obviously it already exists. Some people said that, you know, it's pretty cool, but it needed a lot more. And I think that, you know, what Disney really saw is they saw your guys' feedback and they went to town on it. So they're not just adding one ride, which is what everyone kind of expected. They're actually adding two. First one being Avengers Infinity Defense. That's that new car ride that they kind of announced last, what was it, the Destination D, or was it D23? I'm not sure exactly what it was. They announced this new car ride, basically, set in the Avengers universe, and what we found out is that it's going to act more or less like the Spider-Man vehicle or the Spider-Man ride over at Universal Studios, the Islands of Adventure. So it's going to act like that Scoop vehicle is what I think it's called, and it's going to go through a couple different things, like it's going to visit Wakanda, New York, a couple different places. They're going to be showing you fighting alongside the Avengers. So I think it's going to be really fun to watch. I wish that it was a little bit more tense. From what I'm gathering, like, Spider-Man is a cool ride, don't get me wrong. I love that ride over at Islands of Adventure. But I would have hoped for something a little bit more thrilling, right? We kind of have a little bit of that through the Spider-Man ride over at California Adventure right now at Avengers Campus. I would have hoped for something a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
Like Cosmic Rewind or something, you know? Take that as you will. Obviously, we're just speculating. We're just working with the information that we have so far, but those are my thoughts so far. And then second is Stark Flight Lab. This one is really interesting. It looks like some sort of like arm that grabs you. It's like a 2-seater ride. So it would be like, literally, if we went, it would just be me and you. We would be sitting together in this little pod, and you know, there would be like a conveyor, for lack of a better term, like a conveyor belt system, basically, that's like pushing us along, and then there would be these arms that grab our pod from behind and like move us like this, and so on and so forth. And apparently every time that you go on there, it will be a different experience with a different hero, is what they announced. That'll be exciting. That's
that's exciting.
That's something that Disney needs to, like, literally just continue to do. They need to do that because they have people like us, obviously, that live locally and we're able to go to the parks. So obviously I think we'll go to the parks even more because of the excitement of, you know, who are we going to get? You know, what are we going to be able to see?
Yeah.
But also for the people that are huge Disney fans that come every single big holiday or vacation here frequently. It's going to give them a reason to go to these rides again. So I think it's a really good thing that they're doing this, and I hope to see that they continue to do this on the other future rides.
It's like basically we can compare it to the Guardians of Galaxy.
Exactly, yeah.
Because they change the song every time, and then every time we are like waiting the line and say like, what song do you think we can listen
Exactly,
to?
yeah.
And we are always like, never repeat a song. So I don't know if we ever listen to all. Yeah, it's always really exciting.
Yeah, I think it'll be really fun to see exactly kind of how they do this and what they do to put this all together. I think it's going to be really magical. Next on the list, Avatar Land.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous of them.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're doing another Avatar Land, but it's not going to be exactly
like,
the same.
No, it's gonna be based on the second movie. So
Yeah, but not just the second movie. It's gonna be based on the third, which is Fire and Ash, which is the name of the new movie that they announced, and they also said that it's going to be based off the fourth one as well. So not only are they, thinking like, okay, let's make this a little bit more relevant to the time that we're at. Let's invest in our future as well. I thought it was really, really cool that they were able to do that, and
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so that's going to be coming up. They didn't release too much information on it, but they did release a couple of pictures, a little mock-up, if you will, of concept art of the attractions. Apparently there will be 2 attractions, a restaurant attached to it, and both of those attractions look like water rides. I think it's going to be, obviously, because of the last movie, very water themed. Very excited to see exactly what this all looks like when it's put together.
Yeah.
So next here we have Coco Boat Ride. Oh, sorry if you hear some thunder in the background.
I think Brian's jealous of this one.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm very, very jealous of this one. I mean, initially the rumor was when they were doing the whole blue sky, oh my gosh, I can't speak right now. The blue sky announcement at last D23. They were saying that Coco was going to be a part of Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Initially thought to be coming over to Magic Kingdom. They, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you look at it, did announce this as an exclusive to Disney California Adventure. Not exactly sure where it's going to go, but I think it will eventually come to Orlando. I think it will come to Walt Disney World. I don't think that this will come to Magic Kingdom, especially with all the new announcements that we'll get to eventually in this video. But
in my opinion, this ride should be at Epcot and like replace the Los Tres Amigos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty old ride, but I think it needs to be rethemed, and since Coco is like Mexican, would be nice.
I would kind of agree. I mean, I love the Three Amigos. I think that's like a, fan favorite ride. And I think a lot of people will probably be upset with that leaving, but if we're getting rid of Dinosaur, for example,
because if you think about
we should be able to get rid of that
like
too.
When you would go inside of Mexico, we have some Coco already there.
Yep, there's a couple of like Coco themed things that they're like little museum-ish.
Yeah, little museum. They should just do Coco.
Yeah, they should add Coco there. I think that's the biggest Mexican themed thing that they have currently. And yeah, it would be really cool to see a Coco boat ride in the Mexico Pavilion. I think it'll be harder done than said. I'm switching up the saying there, but I do think that this would be huge if they could do something like this at Epcot, or maybe it could come to a brand new park. If they do announce a 5th gate eventually over at Walt Disney World, I think that this could be a big seller in terms of something that could be coming to that new park later on. And that kind of takes us over to Disney's Animal Kingdom. So obviously we knew about this, the Tropical Americas, they announced this at Destination D, but I guess we got further, confirmation that they're moving along with the plans of that. Number one here, they're creating the Indiana Jones attraction. Obviously we already knew that, but they did reveal that it will be an entirely new story. I'll actually add a couple of things in my opinions here. I think that not only should it be a brand new story, it should be a brand new track system, period. I think, using the same vehicle or the ride vehicle is completely okay with me. It obviously mimics the Indiana Jones ride that's over in California, but I hope that they add a brand new ride system so it's not the same thing. It's not just a retheming. Although I do love Tiana's, don't get me wrong, I love that ride. I think it could have been done a little bit better. I think that using the same ride system or the same track, for lack of a better word, it kind of it seemed a little bit like they half did it versus doing something from scratch. And I just hope that they add a little bit of love in terms of what they're doing here. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. And then Encanto is like one of the best,
Yeah.
you know,
We knew about it too.
yeah, it's like one of the best IPs that they have right now. I feel like they have underused that a little bit, other than, you know, adding the stuff at Epcot. I think they're starting to realize that's a huge seller, and they're starting to use it a little bit more. Really excited to see an actual ride coming. One thing that they did announce is that this is going to be something that they're going to be doing over time. So it's going to be coming in different waves. So I assume that maybe they'll get started on the restaurant first, or maybe they'll get started on Dinosaur, or getting rid of Dinosaur first, or the extinction of Dinosaur, and actually start working on maybe Indiana Jones first. But I think, sadly, that Encanto will be coming last. And I think what they announced is that it should be waves up until 2030 or 2020 something. I don't know exactly the date that they announced, but I know it's years ahead. It's not something that's coming anytime soon in terms of that whole project being completed on day one.
Yeah, and the ride, I think it's a water ride too, right?
I
It's
couldn't
like-
tell, to be honest.
Because what they mentioned was the ride will be like
Well-
Antonio's dream, and then they go through the rainforest or something.
So what I've actually learned that it's not a boat ride from what people have been saying, and yeah, people are saying that it's not a boat ride. Maybe we'll add in some sort of water element to it. From the small little bits of images that we've been able to see, it looks like, you know, it looks like it might be like a water vehicle, but it's not. It's confirmed that it's not a water ride.
Maybe
So
it's like Avatar then.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be immersed in the rainforest. Maybe it's like Avatar. You know.
maybe not. I mean, we just don't know
Yeah,
too
we don't
much,
know.
like, honestly. But
They didn't mention.
they did mention that it will be going through inside the house and going through each and every room, which was really cool. And then I guess the funny thing is that they announced there will be a Bruno room, which was really, really cool too. So, well, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with that. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be really fun. Next, Epcot 2025, the date. That's all that was really announced. Like, no new images about what the, you know, rides systems or the upgrades are going to look like. Obviously, they need to do some upgrades in terms of what it looks like inside there. Like, it's very, very outdated. I enjoyed it, obviously. I'm a fan of the ride, but it needed some love. I would have hoped to see some new stuff, but
Yeah.
they didn't really share anything.
The test track, it's too shaky right now, right?
It's too shaky.
And now they want to do faster, so they probably need to improve it.
Yeah. So we'll see exactly kind of what ends up happening. Obviously, it's opening up sometime next year. Hopefully, we get some more news on that soon. One of the biggest, guys, and I'm not even kidding you guys. This literally sent like, guys, I have like shivers going through my skin right now. Like, oh my gosh.
I'm excited for that one.
This, especially with a baby coming up, like, oh my gosh.
And that was one of my favorite movies as a kid, so
Yeah.
like, I can't believe that. My kid will be watching and is gonna have the experience at Disney.
Yeah, so the announcement actually is, we've been talking so much about this. The announcement actually is Monsters Inc. Land coming to Hollywood Studios. And they, like, when they announced it kind of slowly. So it was like building up so much anticipation and excitement. And I'm like, please don't come to like California, please don't. And as much as I have love for you California people, like, we need stuff over here in Disney World. Like, this is obviously the main park, right? Like, people, you know, come to Disney World from all over the world. So I think that I'm super excited that it's coming to Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is already like one of my top 2 favorite parks, and it needed a little bit of love. Like, it's such a smaller park. I feel like it seems like it's a little bit crammed. which actually we'll get to that because that's something that I want to talk about too. But one of the things that I wanted to say is that it seems like it will have maybe some sort of slide, like a playground from the images that we saw. They also announced that going to be having a roller coaster. So this roller coaster actually was like one of the things that I was thinking about ever since I was super young, like when I was a kid. I think it was either the original Monsters Inc. or maybe it was Monsters Inc. 2, I don't remember exactly. But there was a scene in it where they went through the actual doors and they're like hanging on basically to a door in the movie, and they're going through like this, like, I don't know, like a warehouse of like doors basically that leads to like kids' rooms and obviously different places. It would have been so cool from my imagination to go through an actual roller coaster that looked that way. So they're actually doing exactly that. Everything that I thought about them doing is exactly what they're going to be implementing here. So I'm super excited about this one.
Yeah, me too. Do you think it's gonna be a 3D roller coaster, like, or ride?
It could be. I could see they've been implementing a lot of different roller coasters with Tron and Guardians with a lot of different screens, but it still makes me wonder because if you do wear glasses, there is that ability to have the glasses fall out. So I'm not exactly sure what this system would look like, but I do think that it would be a really cool ride to maybe implement like a 3D screen onto. I know in the past they had like the glassless 3D screens, and that was like kind of a fad a couple years ago, obviously, when they were like introducing like new TVs and stuff like that. I think it would be really cool to maybe see if they can implement a little bit of that on top of this new technology that they've been doing with the other roller coasters. The last thing I will add here is this will be a whole big land, right? So it's going to be a lot of space for this land, and I just don't know exactly where they're gonna have this. So there's been a couple like rumors that it might be Muppets. I don't think it will be Muppets. I don't think they have enough.
They didn't mention about remove Muppets right now, right?
No, and to be honest, I think my fear is that like with Galaxy's Edge, it just seems a little bit too small. Like it feels like they could have implemented a little bit more at Galaxy's Edge, but obviously, you know, Hollywood Studios is such a small park compared to the others, at least. And so they're gonna have to make space here somehow. Like I feel like out of all the parks too, it has the largest like parking lot. So like maybe if you implement, you know, taking away some of the parking lot, maybe investing in parking garages.
But if you see, you know, like Toy Story has like a huge wall behind.
Yeah, it does have a big wall behind it. I guess we'll have to look at, maybe we can look at, you know, the Google Maps and see how much space they have, but I don't think that they have enough space in a lot of different areas. I'm sure obviously if they announce it, they have a plan. They know exactly where it's going to go. They just haven't announced anything here yet. And to be honest, they haven't announced where the majority of things are going to be here. Like maybe one or two things, you know, they kind of left us in the dark when it comes to that. So I hope that eventually we'll learn exactly where it's going to go. My guess is that it will go where the Disney Junior stuff is, Star Wars Launch Bay, all of that whole area will probably go away. And then maybe they'll use a little bit of that backlight to include some of this. I hope that's enough for a roller coaster. I hope that this roller coaster isn't like a short roller coaster. It's actually a lengthy, fun one that isn't like Tron, because I feel like Tron is like super quick.
A minute and a half.
So I hope that, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of hopes for this. I'm very excited, but we'll see what happens. And then probably the biggest announcement that they made.
We kind of know as well.
Well, what's funny about this announcement is that, you know, towards the end of it, like I was like, oh, I'm like so bummed. Like this is all they have. Like, because I was really hoping for a fifth gate. You know, I was really thinking that would come out of this whole showcase. But then, you know, at the very end, they surprised us. They're like, one more thing, basically. And then they talked about Villainsland. And when they said Villainsland, my mind immediately went to a brand new park, which it wasn't. They said that it would be a Villainsland attached to Magic Kingdom. And me thinking about things, I'm like, where is this gonna go to? Like a lot of the things that were announced in this showcase, you know, you're just thinking like, where is all this stuff gonna go? Yeah. But I think so there was the Big Thunder Mountain, beyond Big Thunder Mountain space, which is towards the left part of the park on the top. And then you might have some space right behind Haunted Mansion. So if you enclose a little bit of that Tom Sawyer Island, add a couple of walkways that go behind Haunted Mansion, you might have a little bit of space there. But to be honest, who knows? Like, we saw some mock-ups, and obviously they're just images, right? That they're just animated images, right? That people just drew up as like mock-ups or ideas of what could come. And they tend to not always show exactly what they're going to do. I think they add a little bit more to excite people a little bit more. So they're not exactly correct when the final product does come. But from the mock-ups, it looked like it was going to be a huge land. And when I say huge, if you go over to Avatar Land right now, over at Animal Kingdom, that area is humongous. This looks bigger than that. This looks humongous. Like I don't know where they're going to find the area to do all this. They had a castle there. If you looked at the images correctly, off to the left, you're gonna see like a roller coaster, perhaps. They didn't announce a roller coaster, but that's something that they're, I guess, teasing at, or maybe left a little bit of an Easter egg. They said that it's gonna get, you know, its own, you know, shops. It's gonna have dining, like different restaurants. It's gonna have 2 new attractions. So if one is a roller coaster, I would assume the second one is probably a castle ride, maybe a la what they're doing over at Epic Universe, going through the mansion. I don't know. It just...
We're gonna know soon. As soon as they start building, all the rumors.
But I do think that this is probably the last thing that will end up coming to any of the parks from what they announced last night. I think this is the farthest along, but who knows? Maybe they're prioritizing this.
I'm kind of disappointed because they kind of mentioned like in the next 5 years, so we don't know what's gonna be first or not in the next 5 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ideas that I know will be coming. Lounges that they announced that will be coming over, things of that sort. We know that, you know, Test Track is coming in 2025. Yeah. There's a couple of things that they're doing, but I think that, you know, fans in general were really excited for things now. Like,
at least in the next year or 2.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least 2. Yeah. Like, or the very most 2 rather. You know, there's a lot of things that are happening here, specifically in Orlando. Obviously, with Epic Universe. If you haven't watched that video, you know, go ahead and watch it. It's a really cool video that we put together. Going through and previewing Epic Universe, but it's looking like it's going to be an amazing park, and I don't think Disney can, you know, deny that. And so what Disney fans really wanted is something now to compete with that, or to even allow different families that are already going to be coming over here to, you know, check out Epic Universe in 2025, the chance to say, okay, let's spend all week at Epic Universe. We've been to Disney so many times. Let's at least go a couple days at Disney to check out the new updates that they've done over at Disney World.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit, you know, disappointing that we didn't see a lot of things that are coming up sooner, but we'll see what ends up happening. The next thing that they announced here, Cars Land.
I'm pretty excited. It was one of my favorite movies as well as a kid.
Yeah, Cars Land coming over to Magic Kingdom. Another thing that's coming. So this is what I think they were teasing at D23, that there would be, or the last D23 rather, that there would be a Beyond Big Thunder Mountain area. And although I was like super lightning focused on like Coco coming and all that, unfortunately that didn't come, but Cars Land is coming, and it's not going to be just like a copy cut paste Radiator Springs over at Disneyland, or the California version, it's going to be something completely different. It's going to be a little bit more Frontierland-esque. They're going to have like a little bit more Western feel to it. A lot of dirt road imagery that was used in the images that they shared here. A lot in mountains. It looked really cool. I liked it. It's going to have 2 new rides. One's going to be probably something that would match the fast, I forgot what it's called, but the test tracky ride that's over at Epcot, but they have, I don't know if you've actually been to it, but at Disney California Adventure, they have a Cars ride that is almost like Test Track, but it's Cars themed. So I think that they might add maybe something like this at Magic Kingdom. Maybe not. Maybe we get completely surprised. What you'll continue to see through, the theming, a regular theme of this video, is that all of the stuff that they announced, they didn't add too much information about. So all this information is super exciting, but we didn't see enough. But the second ride is going to be geared towards families, the younger crowd, obviously kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think kids need more rides now.
And I think Cars is a perfect kind of IP to include in that. I'm excited.
Yeah, not just for little boys. We are having a boy and we really excited. But as a little girl, when I was a kid, I love Cars. So.
Yeah, I know it's a really cool IP. I think a lot of people really get excited about it. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next. Another cool announcement that I think a lot of people had made, and actually this was one of my predictions, that they're going to be adding a new nighttime parade over at Magic Kingdom. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. When I used to go as a kid, they had a nighttime parade. I forgot what it was called. It was like Mickey's Electric Parade or something like that. It was super exciting. It was fun as a kid. I loved it.
I like the idea. I like the idea to have a parade at night because parents stay all day long with kids.
Yep.
And they want to show their kids the firework, but some kids are not prepared, so they start crying and they then have to leave. So maybe some kids can watch a parade and go back to the hotel, or and also to leave after the fireworks. It's hectic.
And so that was one of the things that I was going to bring up, is I'm scared about the logistics of this. I don't know exactly what they're going to do or how they're going to set it up, or even what time it's going to be. I don't know anything. We don't have many details at all, which is something that I was really bummed out about. It will be coming this next summer, so summer 2025, and it's going to be called Disney Starlight, which is a cool name. I like that name. It's gonna have Peter Pan, Encanto, Frozen, a couple other IPs shown throughout, and it seems pretty exciting. I like this a lot. So that was kind of the big announcements over at Walt Disney World. The other things that I was gonna mention, which we don't have to spend too much time on this, but there will be a lounge opening up at on Spaceship Earth over at Epcot, which seems like they were saying it's going to be a luxurious lounge or something like that. Super cool. I think that, obviously Epcot is a really cool bar or restaurant type of park, so really nice to see that they're continuing to invest in that. And then another thing that they announced was a tavern opening up at Pirates. So there's going to be a Pirates themed lounge or tavern or bar. I'm not sure if they're going to add any sort of food to that or what. I don't know if it's going to be like a restaurant-esque type thing. Obviously, we would have loved to have them add a couple more things in terms of details, but I think it's exciting nonetheless. Especially the Pirates one. I think that's a perfect addition to that area, and it fits with the theming of it, right? It's exciting. The next thing, going outside of Walt Disney World, we're moving on to the international parks. And first, I think a lot of people here at Paris got a lot of love. They're adding a Lion King land. They're changing the name of Walt Disney Studios Park into Disney Adventure World. So it's actually going to be a whole world. They're adding a Lion King land, which is amazing. I don't think anywhere around the world, not even Shanghai or Hong Kong, none of the parks all around the world have a Lion King associated ride, or even a land. So to have them, have something like this that's exclusive makes me want to take another trip to Paris. Like, I'm so excited about Lion King. I think this is a huge IP. They're obviously creating a lot of movies that are associated with their newer rides that are coming out, and it's exciting. I'm pumped for it.
Did you watch Lion King when you were a kid?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I watched a ton of it.
Yeah, I love it as well. So
yeah, it was fun. But another thing that they announced too was that there's an actual water ride. So instead of doing and creating a Tiana's, which I think a lot of different parks are doing all around the world, they're getting the same kind of ride system, but it's going to be Lion King themed. So really, really cool. I'm very jealous. It's gonna have dining, shopping, character meet and greets. I'm jealous. This is amazing. Shanghai Disneyland is going to be adding a Spider-Man roller coaster.
That's nice.
Oh, guys. I'm so... the international parks got a lot of love this year at D23. It's really cool. They're focusing on Spider-Man. I think that's a thing that could be... added all around the parks all around the world. I wish we had the ability to do that over here at Walt Disney World, but with the exclusivity deal that they had with Universal, it makes things a little bit tricky. So we'll end up seeing what happens in the future. Maybe we get something that's Spider-Man themed. I think it would be cool to have a Spider-Man
ride. We just go and travel to all the parks.
That's true. Yeah, maybe we'll travel there. You guys are gonna have to subscribe and watch if we do that in the future. But and then there's a couple more announcements, so we'll get to them very quickly. I know that we've been if you made it this far, thank you so much. But Hong Kong Disneyland is getting another Spider-Man Avengers-esque attraction. It almost, I can't really tell exactly what it is, but it almost looks like it's gonna be like a Tower of Terror esque ride,
but the Guardians in Disneyland probably.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've rethemed Hollywood Tower of Terror to Guardians in California. I think they're gonna do that over at Hong Kong Disneyland with more of like an Avengers theme or something like that. And it has, the concept art actually looks really cool. It looks like Doc Ock and on the bottom of the tower, like blowing stuff up, and then on the top of the image you have Spider-Man like holding on with his webs onto the ride vehicle, not allowing it to fall any further. It actually looks super sick. I love this a lot. I wish I can go on it. I'm usually a big baby when it comes to like Tower of Terror, but like this specifically looks amazing.
I don't go to Tower. I've never been. I don't want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I could do roller coasters. I can do a lot of different rides, but rides that go like just up and down, and that's like the only thing they do. It freaks me out for some reason. So I don't typically go to those types of rides, but this one looks super cool, and I think I would, if I had the chance, I think I would try to gain as much like bravery to go. Like this would excite me. The last thing that I wanted to mention as well is Disney Cruise Line got like a lot of
show.
Well, it got a really good kind of showing at the showcase. They announced that obviously they're working on Disney Treasure, Disney Destiny that they just announced. If you've been following our channel, we talked a little bit about the Destiny. But on top of that, they announced that over the course of up until 2030, I think they mentioned, that they're going to be adding 4 more ships on top of that. So it's going to be a total 13 different ships, which is unbelievable. Like, it just blows my mind. Like,
what do you think about the prices? Because
well,
it's going to be more affordable since they are adding more.
I hope that it gets a little bit more affordable. If they're adding more, then it gives more people the chance to go, and obviously that.
Because that's what I feel like. Not everyone can go to Disney Cruise as a family because it's not that cheap.
If they're trying to fill 13 different ships, And I don't know exactly what their destinations look like. I don't know, you know, maybe some are going to be more geared towards Europe, or some are going to be just like Alaskan themed cruises, or I don't know. I think they'll probably focus on, you know, diversity in terms of where they're going to be sailing out from and to. I hope that the more ships that they add will add more demand, and hopefully, you know, the more availability that they have will help them bring costs down.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing when it comes to at least us. Like, we would love to go to more Disney cruises. It's just expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And so I think if it was cheaper, we'd probably go to more.
Yeah. But one thing that we noticed is that if you go for a Disney cruise to Europe, it's much more cheaper than here.
Yep.
And it's like almost 2 weeks is the same price here.
Yep.
Compared to like 4 days here.
Yeah, I mean, we've thought about, you know, potentially taking a flight over to Europe and then enjoying a couple days there, and then hopping on, like, you know, a cruise from Barcelona, obviously.
Yeah, they actually have like one cruise leaving from, I don't know, from Orlando, I think maybe Miami, and you go to Portugal, and after that you stop in many places. And then you stop in Barcelona, will be the last, and then you just fly back.
Yeah.
And that is still cheaper than just 4 days here.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like we're also like in the prime area for a lot of people all around the world wanting to take their cruises in the Caribbean. And so I don't think we have that going our way. Who knows? Maybe they add a couple more options over here in Florida, and we have the chance to go to a couple of different, you know, cruise ships that maybe are some of the older ones that get a little bit cheaper, or whatever the case may be. I would love to go to one maybe sometime next year, or maybe within the next 2 years. I know we have our baby on the way, so we've talked a little bit about that. So I don't know, we'll see if we end up doing that. I think eventually we'll definitely do it. So guys, those were kind of most of the announcements. I think I covered everything. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, you know, comment down below, let me know exactly what I missed, and I'm happy to put, you know, any thoughts that I have regarding that in the comments below. But one thing that I wanted to do before we hop off is just give our full review in terms of what we thought. So Ellie, I'll let you kind of start. Like, what did you like from everything that we talked about, everything that was announced? Is there something that like kind of captures your attention the most?
Well, I like everything because we are getting a lot of things, but cars, I'm really excited.
Oh yeah.
Especially because we are having a baby. What else? I'm not excited about the timing that they're putting.
Yeah.
Like, that's like make me mad.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for the new cruises as well. So hopefully it's more affordable. The new restaurants, always, we like to go to a lot of restaurants, so
right,
we'll have a lot of restaurants around, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool to see. Yeah, I think I would have to agree with a lot of those different points. The one thing that kind of captured my attention specifically was you know, the Villainsland. Very excited to see what ends up happening with Villainsland. I think that's something that the majority of Disney fans have been asking for a very, very long time. I'm not sure if I'm excited about Villainsland coming to Magic Kingdom. I think it would have been a really cool park within itself. Like, literally just a dedicated Villainsland park would have been, I think, much more exciting to see. And have it just like, obviously it would be more of the adult park. It would be a very much a direct answer to what Universal has been doing with more adult themed park and rides and things of that sort. So that would have been exciting to see. Yeah, additional to that, I think Monsters was really, really cool. That would have been awesome to see a little bit more, which is one of the things that I'll mention was kind of my like thumbs down in terms of the showcase is that, you know, I would have loved to see more details. Like we got a lot of songs, we got a lot of singing throughout the showcase, and although all that stuff is nice, it was too much. It was a little bit too much. I think a lot of the fans that were going there and have been watching it and following it from home have been excited for that specific showcase because of the announcements. That's the real meat and potatoes. And if you take away the songs, all of the show, all of the stuff that they did besides the announcements, it was a very small show. And so we needed more content. We needed more stuff to keep us excited about Disney all around the world, but specifically here in Orlando. Like, we have a major competitor coming and creating a brand new park that looks like it's going to be the park of all parks. And so I would have loved to see Disney compete a little bit more. Obviously, don't get me wrong, I'm a very huge Disney fan. I want to see them compete, and I know that Disney can do better. And so I would have loved to see a brand new park be announced. We will save that for a future one. Hopefully that comes in the next D23. Another thing that I'll add here as well is a lot of the show, not all of the show obviously, but a lot of the show was announcements about announcements that they've already made. So like, we knew that, you know, Avatar Land was coming. They already announced that. We knew that there would be a Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. They already mentioned stuff about that. We knew that the Tropical Americas area was coming over to Animal Kingdom. It's just a lot of the stuff that we knew that was already coming. Avatar, I think, did I mention that one already?
I think so.
Okay. Well, my point is that there's a lot of things that were talked about during this showcase that they've already talked about before, maybe with a couple small little, you know, differences. Obviously, you know, Beyond Big Thunder Mountain, we never knew what that was going to contain, but we knew that there was going to be something there, and that's exciting that it's going to be cars and stuff like that, but it would have been nice to just see stuff that was new. We have no information about new hotels. We know that they're working on hotels. They didn't announce anything about hotels or resorts. They didn't announce anything about the updates that are currently taking place over at Walt Disney World in terms of resorts. No big new restaurants other than the lounges. Mm-hmm. Other than the two lounges that were at Walt Disney World that they're working on. No big news on those. All the lands, the rides didn't have a lot of detail to it. It seemed like they could have done a lot more. And all of these announcements, I wish they would have done this at Destination D, because if they already knew that they were going to be working on this stuff, announce that stuff at Destination D and then go into big detail come D23.
I remember like a couple years ago, they kind of mentioned a new resort maybe in South America. And then this year was a rumor as well, but I don't think that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brazil was mentioned to have like a big resort or a rumor of a big resort going there. It would be cool to see if that actually happens or not. Obviously, it's a rumor, it's speculation. We don't know exactly if it's going to happen or not. But you're touching on my point. It's like more announcements would have been awesome. Like, we know they're working on more stuff than this. We know that they put in, permits for a couple different resorts that are already being worked on, whether that be dirt being moved or not. There is active development going on with new resorts here in Orlando. There's new stuff happening, obviously, at Disneyland with Disneyland Forward, that whole project that happened. It's just, there's a lot of things that are missing. And so I hope that they get to them eventually. Maybe Destination D that's coming up will have more news. And that'll be exciting because usually Destination D's held over here in Walt Disney World. So I'm hoping that we're gonna get big announcements for that. In the past, they haven't been too big of announcements. They kind of hold all that stuff for D23. So this is their chance to make Destination D a lot more exciting. And if they do that, I think they're going to surprise a lot of folks and have a lot of us Disney fans very excited for what's to come. Anyways, that's our video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on our video. We really appreciate it. We're just two soon-to-be parents living here in Orlando, Florida. We love to go to the theme parks. We want to make this into a really cool community, a really fun travel channel where we show a lot of the theme park stuff that's going on here locally. We'd love to have you along for the ride in this adventure. So yeah, please go ahead and do those things. We would very much appreciate that. But with that said, see you later, alligators. Bye-bye.
Bye.